Welcome to Season 2 of Hey Emma, the podcast where a teen girl and her dad discuss the challenges and fundamentals of living a teenage life.
In Season 2, you'll find a plethora of new topics ranging from really serious to really uplifting and overall a really fun time.
So join us as we aspire to help many teens and their parents live a more fulfilling life. It's
Hey Emma. Hey Emma.
Hey Dad.
Today we're going to talk about something that really prevents people from moving forward.
Fears.
What do you think about it?
Wah.
Not just that kind of fear, but everyday fears too.
Yeah.
So let's get started. So Emma, I know today we're going to talk about fears, long-standing fears, short-standing fears, all kinds of different types of fears, because I know it's something that's prominent in your life and lately in my life too. But you wanted to start with something first.
Yeah, before we start, we got a letter from one of our fans, and they were wondering how we came up with so many ideas, and they also gave us an idea to talk about Dad's experience growing up with only girls in the house. So thank you to that fan. So...
How did they sign that letter?
One of your fans.
One of your fans.
They said thank you.
We have one fan. That's awesome.
So we come up with ideas throughout the week. We like this episode idea that I came up with. We were actually, me and Dad were already talking about it. It was on our way home from a trip to Arkansas where we went to. We were talking about this topic, and so I thought it would be a good podcast idea to bring up. So it's just in everyday life that we stumble upon these random ideas and think that they're with enough like background information they could be good things to talk about. So,
and this one we don't need a whole lot of research to do before we talk about it because it seems to absorb a lot of our lives anyway as fears. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about some of your long-standing fears. What do you want to say about them?
Well, some long-standing fears that I have, first of all, spiders, but I think that one's...
It is so funny to see you around spiders, because you squeal like really high-pitched, and you almost get a little bit sweaty. It's really funny. And you're like, Daddy, 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 come kill this, come kill this. And I'm like, well, it's just a tiny little spider.
Some of them are really big, okay. No.
It seems like such an overreaction, but, you know... If you have a fear of spiders, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. We had a class, in health class, we talked about it this year. Phobias is one of our, like, mental disorder things. And I don't think I have any phobias. Like, actually, I think maybe, like, another one of my fears is change. Like, major changes in my life or even smaller changes in my life. And I think that might... be slowly turning into a phobia. I don't know, but I think because the definition of a phobia is something that interferes with your daily life and wanting to, and being able to do certain things because of that fear. So
I know we talked this summer in one of our podcast episodes about your fear of change of schedule. When you have an idea of what the schedule is going to be for that day, that week, that month, and if it changes drastically, you have real problems with it. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not a fear. Maybe that's a control issue. I don't know. But
I think I do have some kind of a control issue, but that might also feed into the fear of change, or it might be a result of that fear. But, for example, I remember one time we were at a hotel. I think we were staying there because our great aunt and uncle gave it to us for the night.
They're awesome.
Yeah. And I got a text from my friends. It was over the summer. And they had said that two of them wanted to go to the beach and they were inviting me. And for some reason, I did not want to go. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I hadn't had it planned, or I don't know. I didn't want to go because I had never gone with them before, like done that kind of thing. So the fear overtook me. Luckily, I had gotten my period the next day, so I didn't have to go. But yeah.
Saved by the red wave.
Yeah, it was really weird. I think a lot of my fears are hanging out with my friends and interacting. I don't know.
You have such a good group of friends. They are really nice people, and they're all, I don't know, they all seem like they're on the same level as you as far as intellect and interests and things like that. So I don't know why you have such a fear of hanging out with them.
Well, I think...
Because it seems like it would be such a safe space.
Yeah, I just, sometimes I don't feel like I'm included. So then I'm afraid that if I go, I'm not going to have as much fun as if I hang out with my family or some of my other friends, or I don't know. Just,
yeah, I don't know either. I'm not sure how it...
It's a mystery that'll never be solved. No.
Yeah. Chalk it up to a long-term mystery, huh? So why do you think we haven't gotten over some of our fears? You have a lot of fears.
Yeah. Well, if the fear is something that keeps coming back, like, I'm going to bring in something psychological based. When you have the same stimulus that could be like a positive punishment, it's adding something that's negative. Yeah, it's adding something that's negative.
That's confusing. What are you referring to?
Like when you're constantly, or when you see a spider, it's not just like a rare occurrence. You see them every once in a while, and when it comes to a surprise, especially, then that helps build that fear because you don't know when you're going to see one. And when you do see one, your fear builds up because I don't know. It's just when you have a fear, it can start off small, but then the more times that you are in contact with that fear or experience that fear, then I think it builds up more instead of slowly going away. Like
so
some people think.
It's more like a muscle. So the more you exercise this fear, the stronger it gets.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Because some people think that the more that you're exposed to a fear, the less you'll be afraid of it.
Do you want to talk about the fear that you have? You have not shared with your friends your medical condition.
Yeah. Okay, so I haven't shared it with them, but my mom has. So she shared it with one of my friends, and I don't know why that was so embarrassing to me. I guess it just
What is your medical condition?
Oh, I have Tourette's syndrome. From what I've seen, it's not as serious of a case as others, but yeah, it affects my driving, it affects certain things in my life, but okay, so story time. Yeah. When I was in middle school, there was this one boy that would, like, whenever he saw me tick, he would point it out. Like, I don't think he knew that's what I was doing, but he would, like, do it back at me or something. It was really weird. So he noticed that I was doing them, and he would, like, do it back at me. I don't think he knew, again, that that's what I was doing, but...
I don't think you knew at that point.
No, I did. It was in middle school, so...
Oh, okay. But you hadn't been diagnosed at that point as having Tourette's.
No, I didn't. But I still knew that I was having these tics, and I guess it was just... That kind of built my fear of not wanting to tell people, because... I don't know, it's just...
about how they're going to react.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my friend, when my mom told her, didn't seem to care, so maybe it's just... It doesn't matter to them. I don't know. But,
probably not.
Yeah.
If they're friends, it shouldn't matter. But yeah, I know what you mean. You never know. Interesting. So how do your Tourette's, because I know how your Tourette's presents itself, but for our listeners, you want to talk about how your Tourette's presents itself?
No.
Okay.
We're talking about fears. No.
That's right. We're talking about fears.
We can make that another episode. No.
Scratch that. Edit. So let's talk about some fears that we've conquered. What have you conquered?
I think some of my fear of speaking in front of a whole bunch of people has not maybe like not completely gone away, but it's reduced a little bit. I know in AP seminar, the class I'm taking right now is a big proponent of it is presenting, because you have to do these really big presentations, one of them with a group and then the other one you have to do by yourself. And so I think the one I already have done the one with the group, and I didn't seem as nervous about it as I would have if I had done it earlier. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like I've overcome that a little bit. So I think that's pretty good because...
It comes with practice, definitely.
Yeah.
When I was in college, we had to take it was a business communications class, and part of the class was speeches where we had to give a total of 7 speeches throughout the class. And I remember so vividly the fear and the terrified feeling that I'd get right before my speech. And I had written these speeches so that when I practiced them, let's say it's, for example, you have to give a 4-minute speech, I would practice and practice and practice. And it would be about 4 3/4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. But by the time I got up there and gave the speech, it would be just a hair under 4 minutes every single time. And so it was just because of my fear. And I would talk fast and I would skip things, and it wasn't good. Then I got a job with a software company where I had to give presentations over and over and over again. And throughout my career, and I was with them for probably 6.5 years, I had given hundreds and hundreds of presentations. And I can say after doing that I still got nervous before every single one of them. However, once the nerves passed, which was usually within the first few minutes, it went so smoothly. I mean, what I wanted to say became smooth. My confidence was there. I was able to talk. And now, I mean, I give talks, in front of the Down syndrome group. We give talks when I was with the Chamber of Commerce. It's just part of life now. You just you speak in front of people, and you'll find that too.
Yeah. I think it's cool how both you and Mom don't have that fear of speaking in front of people, because Mommy was she was a teacher, so she couldn't have had that fear because she had to stand in front of people every day, and
right.
And then she even still is a teacher for religious ed, and so she still has to talk in front of people, and then she has all these meetings that she goes to and has to group discuss, and so yeah, and then you don't have that fear either. So I think maybe I'm getting that from you guys. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, really, what's the worst that can happen? If you screw up, you just kind of laugh it off. If you act incredibly embarrassed and ashamed by it, people are going to feel differently about it than if you are confident about it and say, oh, yeah, I goofed that up, and you move on it, move past it. So,
yeah,
it's just how you handle it. Most people, though, have this horrifying, terrifying fear of speaking in front of people.
That's actually the number one, the most popular number one phobia or fear in, I think, the world.
I could imagine.
Yeah, or that they found.
So how do you think you get over fear? I mean, we talked obviously about speaking in front of people and how you get over it through repetition and practice. And what about some other fears? How do you think you'll ever get over a fear of spiders?
If I move somewhere where there's no spiders.
I don't think a place like that exists.
I know.
The Antarctic.
Yeah, I'll move to Antarctica, except I don't like the cold, so. And you would never visit me, so.
No, I don't like the cold either.
Yeah.
Which is why we live in northern Illinois, ironically.
How do you get over fears? I think maybe slowly being exposed to it. I think there's some classical conditioning that can be involved in this. Like, if you really wanted to get over your fear, but you probably could over time. But if you just didn't want to, I mean, I want to get over my fear of spiders, but it's not like I'm living with you guys right now, so I'm fine with just you being there
calling us and saying, come get rid of the spider.
Yeah, I bet when I move out. Yeah, I bet when I move out, I'm going to have to eventually get over it so that I can kill them myself.
You'll have to deal with them yourself.
Yeah, and I'm getting better. There are a couple that I've killed.
Or trap them in a glass and let them go outside.
No, I would never do that. They deserve to die.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I think, maybe if you really have to want to get over that fear, just like anything. If you want to make a change, you have to be willing to make that change. So.
That's an excellent point. This is true. Mm-hmm. Now, you have a lot of other fears, too, about fear of, for some reason, driving.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
I don't know why I'm afraid of driving. I think it's kind of like I think I see it more of as a burden than a freedom. Like, I don't want to get the hours done. I just don't want to drive. I really like being able to talk with you guys while you guys are driving and being able to listen to music. I feel like
you're hyper-focused when you're driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't really focus on discussion or what the radio's doing.
Yeah, and then, I don't know where things are, so I feel like it would be hard when I'm driving because I don't focus on street signs or anything like that, and I always have to ask when to turn from you guys, and I just feel like I'm not ready to drive, even though I may seem like I am. But.
Now, recently you went to a meeting and somebody put you in an uncomfortable situation, and you were really upset when the meeting was over, and you communicated that to me, and it got to the point where you almost did not want to go back. And today, even when you woke up, you did not want to go back